welcome to another FaceHammer YouTube show about White Dwarf updates. This month we've seen another one.
I mean, thick and fast, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So this is the White Dwarf, obviously in its funky cover. Lots of KHORNE stuff on it, so no secrets, it's KHORNE. You also get a War Scroll card in it as well. Yeah, so thanks Games Workshop for sending me those. And thought we'd just talk through the update, what it means, what it does. Does it affect KHORNE in terms of competitiveness? Because we're going to cover match play rules only, not the Path to Glory bit. So if you're interested in narrative Path to Glory, then move along.
Sorry, we're all about the blood. Move on.
Yeah, we're all about match play. So, okay, so what's in the update? So it's not a very big update.
As we've seen recently, it doesn't have to be big to make a big difference, does it? So
no, it's not quite Herdstone level, but it's so you've basically got a new battle trait called Hatred of Sorcery, which is a little bit ironic because it kind of encourages you to start putting wizards in your army, which I'll talk about in a minute. So each time a friendly KHORNE unit is affected by a spell or the abilities of an endless spell, you must roll a dice. On a 6, ignore the effect of that spell, and you get a blood tithe point. So immediately there is a little bit here of taking things that have an area of effect spell or endless spell, like cogs, for example, in your army by taking an allied Nurgle wizard, because you can ally with Nurgle and unmarked slaves, casting whatever endless spell, like Geminids, cogs, whatever, affecting a lot of your units with +1 to charge. Roll a dice for every unit. Every 6 is a blood tithe point. And obviously you only need like 8 for a bloodthirster, so it's not like you need many.
Now that table's fairly aggressive in how it scales up, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's quite hard to get them normally because you have to wipe a unit out. And obviously, like if you're using endless spells which do damage, you can actually like kill. Like I think Maegor's Fiends, you get like a little flesh hound with 2 wounds on his own, so you can blow him up. You can take like Scar Bloodbath, who recycles and things like that. So there's loads of
Geminids. You get 2 things that you can send off in different directions, damaging something and making them the subject of a spell. So
yeah. So anything that has an area of effect, endless spell-wise or spell-wise, you can start hitting your own stuff with it, which then generates your blood tithe points. And another thing I'd mention is timing, because you spend them at the start of your hero phase or at the end of your movement phase. So like, for example, like cogs, you get the benefit when you charge. So that's after you've spent them. And, you know, you can cast, and obviously endless spells move at the end of the hero phase. So that's after you've spent them if you use it for abilities. And then it's kind of, there's some timing jank you can do with it as well. So, plus,
when you spend KHORNE, do you spend down to 0 as default?
Yeah,
no matter what.
KHORNE is wipes it out completely. Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, like KHORNE is quite good. Like it's just a good thing anyway because it's a protection on your whole army that if you pop a 6, you get a blood tithe. So even if you don't try and ally wizards and be janky, it's still passively a good effect, you know?
Yeah.
Particularly if you start playing like Nagash, who wants to put like 5 bolts on him and things like that. So there's some armies that want to cast lots of spells, and you know, like Gift of Disease from Nurgle will hit loads of units, and then you just go, all right, well, I'll roll the dice for everyone on a 6. I don't get the Gift of Disease point, and I get a blood tithe. So your opponent might be going, maybe I won't cast that. So certainly would make me think twice. You know, if I'm playing with my Nurgle, I don't really want
close to dropping something that you don't want to appear on the table.
And obviously, like Aspect of the Sea is probably going to be quite popular with his multicast and multiple units AoE stuff. So again, it's still useful. Obviously, if you take a Bloodsecrator banner, you have to re-roll successful cast. So you might decide not to take that, but it's one of those things. But anyway, that's the only real rule they've got. The other thing is the change to the War Shrine, which is the skull altar. Sorry, I should say. So, basically, what's changed on this is Witchbane, which normally was -1 to cast. Now it's not. It just means if this is on the battlefield, if someone miscasts, they take D6 mortals, not D3.
Nah.
Which is like,
if it was 2d3, I'd care about that.
I mean, it can kill a wizard. Like,
it can.
It's not going to be something that happens very often, but it'd be quite funny if they, 5 wound wizards cast a spell, they miscast, they pop a 6, you then get a blood tithe point.
Yeah.
So
there's some four wound wizards out there as well, and some baby ones.
Mm-hmm.
Not hugely commonly, but obviously that's really raising the odds. If it was 2d3, it'd feel very different, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's better if it was 2d3, but it's still nice. I mean, it's a. I think I'd prefer the -1
Yes.
bubble, but it's not a very big range on that. I think it was 16.
Yeah,
so
18 or something.
This is like, table wide. So then you've got this invoke judgment, which is while a Khorne hero garrisons a terrain feature, it can attempt to summon invocations in the same manner as a Khorne priest, and it benefits from the Words of Hate. And Words of Hate is the reroll chanting rolls. Now, this is, it doesn't give you prayers, but obviously the invocations are like the Rafax, the Bleeding Icon, and the
not bad
Skull.
Either, are they?
So, no, I like them a lot. And the fact you get to re-roll the dice, and you don't have to give up your Slaughter Priest prayer to cast it now if you've got another hero. So if you've got a Blood Secretor in the altar, he can drop one of these out with a re-roll, and it doesn't stop your priest doing Blood Boil or something else. So
is it a 4+ or a 3+?
What, the Rafax is a 5. I think the Rafax is a 5, the icons are 4, and the skulls are a 3, something like that. But it's it's good enough that
rerolls is a huge deal.
It's like having two cracks of the whip to get the same thing. I think it doubles your odds
without paying for a priest. So
yeah,
solid.
And so quite like that. And obviously, Words of Hate is just great anyway. One of the things you can do as well, like obviously the generic prayers like Curse are really good with Khorne, because it's when you roll a 6 to hit, you do a mortal. And one of the Blood Tithe you can move in the hero phase. So you could basically spend Blood Tithe move to have Curse in range, curse someone with a reroll, then you go in with like Skull Reapers, also pump your attacks and just do loads of mortals. So there's some play on there. I don't know if it's going to make much difference to list building. You might suddenly chuck one of the invocations in to your list because you can have a Blood Secretor banner pretty much in every army. Yeah. So you might chuck one in if you've got some spare points. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Depends on the meta, I guess. But I really like the judgments. I used to run all 3 of them in Gore Pilgrims. So for me, like, I love the Slaughter Priests and the prayers and the altar, but I think that with the changes in AOS3, it really hurt the army, so I don't play it anymore. So Skull Altar, that's it really. And then we've just got some battle tactics. Now, the grand strategy, Blood for the Blood God, I don't rate it.
Because big ask, and you're exchanging one of the nicest things of the army for locking yourself into.
Well, this basically means you've got to summon Khorne demons every turn, basically.
Yeah.
Which means you're not using the other abilities. And you've got to have the Blood Tithe generation, so I don't rate that one at all. You're never taking that. This is the Blood Legion's March. But the battle tactics, because they're killing stuff, pretty good. So one is pick an enemy unit within 9 of your altar. If you kill it, you do it. So that could be easy.
Solid.
Slay the Sorcerer, pick an enemy hero that's a wizard. If you kill it, you do it. Again, that's a good one. And the Trial of Skulls, pick a friendly unit. If that unit kills 8 or more enemy models, then you do it. So fairly solid. I mean, someone's got like a screen of something, and you go in and just kill it. like 10 skinks or something was probably a bad example because they're going to
Only
survive. But
only the first one's restricted by range as well, right?
Mhm.
The others are just like, does something that is this exist, being a
Mhm.
unit that you've got that can kill hopefully 8 or more models, or is there a wizard
Mhm.
on the table? That's really nice.
Yeah, so with the Trial of Skulls, you just got to pick one of your units. But if you pick like a, I don't know, like Skull Reapers or a Bloodthirster to go and kill a unit of like normal bog standard infantry, you should do it, right? So
Yeah, completely.
most people have got like screens or chaffy units that are large. So it's nice to have those options because although you've got like killer battle line, you've got other things. It's like you're almost doubling up. So if you play someone who's got a lot of infantry, that'd be an easy one. And likewise, if someone's got lots of wizards, like small wound wizards, and you go, it's my go, I'm definitely going to put my Bloodthirster into that wizard. He's going to die. So that's a guaranteed tactic, really. Because sometimes it's nice to have some extra options. So they're not so bad. Like
No,
I think
they're fine.
they give you options, right? So
They keep it open. They're completely, they're pretty easy to use, really. 2 out of 3 of those, most games will get a go at.
So Darren's been sending me messages talking about summoning lists where you take like Festus as an ally and you cast like Geminids or Cogs, and then you hit your own stuff. But like Geminids is like a 7, I think Cogs is a 6.
Yeah.
And if you've got the banner, you're gonna have to re-roll it.
Even if you've got multiple units, you're pushing odds a bit there for the inclusion of something that you wouldn't otherwise have.
Yeah, I mean, Festus is okay because he heals friendly units, so you can actually heal your own Khorne units. But I'm not sure. Like maybe, but I'm not sure as a Khorne player I'd want to be allying wizards to try and cast spells to give me the extra couple points to then,
Obviously, a free Bloodthirster is always wonderful, and we're not saying that would be bad if you got it off. But maybe, well, at least if it was me, I don't think wouldn't be skewing my army in a skewed direction. Having read this,
because about 200 points of investment, right, to put in like Festus and like I don't know, like Cogs, and it does have a benefit because you get the plus to charge. So it could be, but then like as soon as you start going, oh, I've got a Slaughter Priest, I've got a banner, and I think then you take the Wrathbacks, you invest in quite a lot in these little janky things that may or may not come off, but
they're not feet on the table, are they?
No, and
it's 2 feet.
And it's like, yeah, it's cool, but is it? I mean, yeah, interesting, but I mean, is it much of an update? I think as a Khorne player, it doesn't really do enough for me to make the prayers more useful.
No, I mean, none of it's bad. All of it has made things better, but not significantly enough that those battle tactics aren't going to.
I've not suddenly got excited to get my Khorne out again.
No,
so for me,
I quite like Khorne anyway, but it would have been pretty cool if this had been like, oh wow, like Bloodthirster time. But that's not quite how I feel about it.
It would have been nice to see like the mortals getting a bit of a boost.
Help. Yeah.
Because at the moment it's like Bloodthirsters and chaff, and then nothing else really. Scarbrand basically, and I know we spoke about Matt Clark's list that we played at the One World event end of last year, which was really nice. And
that is a Bloodthirster delivery system, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is literally just Scarbrand piling in from outside of range.
Yeah,
with the Instant Rage always goes first with his blow up if you charge him, and then Scarbrand's just sit behind him, basically ready to go in and mortal wound you off. So, yeah, I don't know. I wish there was a bit more. I don't know. Like they're just crying out for a new battle tome, aren't they? So
yeah, definitely.
But it's not an awful update. Does it change where they are in the power level? Probably not.
No.
But these 2 little subtle changes that might come in a couple battle tactics that might give you some extra options in the game, so it's not terrible. But that's basically it.
Yeah. A bonus for people who are already playing Khorne, and not enough of a reason for people who have them in the cupboard to get them out again. All excited and enthused.
That's how I would describe it. Let us know below what you think. If you think it's like there's some cool stuff that you might want to try out now, if you've been excited to get them out again, or you this really excites you, let us know.
If someone wants to do the maths on the odds on some summoning lists, like I will read that fully and be quite interested by it. You know, like if like you got these 2 spells, I didn't include a Bloodsecrator, so therefore you're not re-rolling. They go off on a this, and on average they can hit 5 units. Therefore, in 2 turns you can Bloodthirster or whatever. I would read that if someone's got a source to it or can do the maths themselves.
Yeah, I think I think it is very random, because if you want 8 points, you essentially need to have like 48 dice you need to roll.
Yeah.
But it's then you start taking things that can do damage as well, and then you start killing your own units and things like that. So it's
you're also not using them up until that point.
No. Which is interesting. But yeah, we'll see. Even getting 1 or 2 extra points in a game could be big.
Big deal, yeah.
But I when I play Khorne, I kind of prefer the out of sequence interaction stuff that you use at the start of the hero phase, rather than the extra units. Yeah, movement, fight out of sequence, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. But yeah, that's that's the Khorne update. So there you go. Thought we'd just cover it. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys. See you in a bit.
Bye.